Hiya, this is Philly at Harper Mae. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own fondant unicorn cake topper. As always, everything you'll need to make this you can find in the description below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials and all kinds of cakey content. So, these are the colours that I've chosen to make our unicorn with today. You've got white for the structure and pink and purple for our nose and hair, but you probably won't need as much as that, and a bit of black for the eyes. For the structure you're going to need a total of around 80 grams. I've added some Tylo powder into my fondant, and this will just make it a bit stronger and set faster. There's a link to my 60-second Tylo powder tips in the description. Any fondant you're not working with, just put away in a Ziploc bag so it doesn't dry out. Okay, beginning with the head. This is going to weigh around 45 grams. Start by kneading it thoroughly so that it's soft and pliable with no cracks, and then form an oval shape in the palms of your hands, which is sort of flat at the bottom. You can take your time making the head shape so that it turns out the way that you want it to look. Just be careful that your hands are not too hot, as this will cause problems for your fondant. Once you have your head, set it aside and we'll get on to the body. So now we've moved on to the body of our unicorn. It's going to weigh about 20 grams, and all you're going to need to do is sort of roll it into a cone using the underside of the palms of your hands. Once you've got the shape you want, if you use a fondant smoother on a tilted angle and roll it, that will give you the nice smooth edges and take out any fingerprints. Once you've got this sort of shape that you want and it's nice and flat on the bottom, just take a skewer or a toothpick and put it central down the middle, and that is where the head is going to sit on top of later on. So now we've moved on to the legs. These only weigh around 2 grams each, but you still may need to trim them down again slightly. As you can see, the process is almost exactly the same as the body, so just do the same but obviously making them much smaller. Right, now that your legs are finished, we're going to move on to the unicorn hooves. So unless you've got teeny tiny scales, which I don't, you can't actually weigh, but I estimate they're about half a gram each. Just roll the fondant into a ball and then just squash it between your fingers and thumb. Smooth down the sides with your other finger and just make sure they fit on the bottom of your unicorn's leg. When you've done these, just set them aside as I'm going to paint these with glitter shortly. Right, so we all know that a unicorn's not complete without his horn, so before we go on to the hooves, we're going to make our unicorn horn because we're going to paint that with glitter too. So just take a small piece of fondant and start by rolling it into a sausage, again using your smoother. Be sure that you make one end slightly thicker than the other. Insert a toothpick into some styrofoam or a cake dummy and just begin wrapping your horn around the toothpick, starting with the fat end first, but be dead gentle because you don't want it to break. When you get to the top, nip it off and it'll leave a nice little curl, and then tuck the bottom under and chop off the excess. Right, now we're on to the best part. We're going to paint with some glitter. I use Rainbow Dust Dark Jewel Gold. You can also get a hologram gold as well, which is really nice. This is not edible, by the way. You can always use gold dust mixed with a bit of vodka or some edible metallic paint, but I prefer glitter, so I'm going to use glitter. Just pour some out into a piece of kitchen towel and then using a food safe paintbrush and a small amount of water, this is going to help the glitter adhere to your horn. Using a tiny amount of water, and I mean tiny, on the tip of your brush, blot it out for a bit and then dip it into the glitter and begin painting the horn. And then just repeat until you see all of its shiny glittery goodness. And then do exactly the same with the feet. Right now I bet you're properly covered in glitter, so go and wash your hands really well so you don't get it all over your unicorn. The final pieces before assembling are going to be the ears and the nose. Take a pea-sized piece of fondant and roll it into a small sausage, and then using your finger, roll each end to a point. Using the large end of your ball tool, press it into the middle of your unicorn, and your ears are going to appear. Well, almost anyway. Repeat for the other ear, and then using a smaller amount of another of your colours, do the same for the inner ear. You can either keep your ears like this, or you can chop them down a bit like I do here. Finally, for our unicorn nose, using another colour again, I just matched the one for the inner ear. Make a small ball but bigger than a pea, and just make it into a fat sausage. And then squash it down flat into an oval shape, and this is going to be for his nose. And then attach it to your unicorn's face. Using a leaf shaping tool, I then just poke 2 holes in for his little nostrils. And then using a small ball tool, I make indentations for the eyes. Take some black fondant and roll them into a small ball, or a black sugar pearl, and insert it into your eye indentations. Now it's time to assemble her. So using a small amount of water, just brush some on to the top of the body and also around the toothpick, and then gently insert the head. Just take a toothpick and then make a small mark where you'd like the horn to go, and then using more water, but still a tiny amount, you can stick on the ears in the position that you want them to be. She's now going to start to take shape and look much more like a unicorn. Place the horn at the place that you've marked before, but be gentle when you're pushing it in, because you don't want to have any finger indentations, but you also don't want to crush your horn. And then still using a little bit of water, just stick your hooves onto the legs. They're going to be dry by now, so if you've used paint or luster dust with vodka, then I reckon you're probably going to have to wait a little bit longer before they're dry. Once that you've added the feet, you're just going to attach them onto the body. So dab some water on the place on her body where they're going to sit, and then gently press them in there. And then you're just going to put the back legs on. So place them along the side so that all the 4 hooves are almost at the same place, and then you're just going to trim a diagonal line off the top of the leg and then stick them to the sides of the body. Lastly, her hair. I almost completely forgot. So for the tail, I just roll out 3 sort of thickish strands between my hands and attach. I don't bother using the smoother for this at all. And then do the same but much smaller ones for her hair. You can make them any colour you like, you can make them look any way you like. You can use a toothpick to arrange the hair in a style that you like. Just do whatever you want. And then she's finished. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my unicorn tutorial. Don't forget, all items that you used to make this tupper are in the description below. If you want to see more of me and my glittery sugary goodness, please like, share and subscribe to Harper Mae's.